All right, you guys, good morning. Thank you so much for joining me. We're here for some Pilates Flow. This is a tough class today. You're definitely gonna sweat. Let's get started. I just want to check, can you guys hear the music at all on your end? Yes? And is it too loud? No? Yes? No? Yeah, it's okay? All right, okay, perfect. Trying a new streaming service, so I'm just making sure it all sounds the same as it used to. All right, let's get to it. So find yourself on your mat, just wiggle your knees a little bit. Start to just notice your feet getting nice and heavy down into the floor. Spread your toes out, plant them down. Draw in through your abdominals just a little bit, starting to pick up this area, drawing it up and in. And let's start with our chin to chest and drawing big circles with your chin. Coming around, let's go a couple times each direction. And the other way as well. Awesome. Coming back to center, float your chin right up to the ceiling. Take your hands to your chest. Pull down on your chest as your chin floats up and feel a nice big pull through the front of your neck. Big, starting to notice your breathing. And then bringing your head back up, let your arms come to your side. Let's start with our arm circles. Big arm circles. We'll start to reach through the fingertips. Push your feet into the floor. Stay really still here. Reaching, reaching, like you're trying to reach past the fingertip. Let's go the other way. Last one. Bringing your arms out beside you, let's turn our wrists. Form a fist with your hand and just turning your wrists. They might be a little bit cracky and snappy. Let's go the other way. And then pausing with your palms up or bending at the elbow. Turn your palms out and push the air back down. Turn your palms in, coming in like a bicep curl. Turn your palms out and reach it down one more time. And reach it out. Turning your palms back up like you're holding two platters. Starting to move your arms in and out. Don't go too far back. If you feel any strain on the front of your shoulder, you're gonna just avoid that. Stop before the pain. Pinkies in, thumbs go out. Reach. Starting to notice your mid-back, your shoulder blades. And let's do 4 more. Pull. Pull. Last 2. Reach. Reach. Bringing those arms out. Let's go into some side bends, side to side. Draw in through your abdominals. Stay facing forward here. We don't want to have any rotation. Just a true side bend, side to side. It's waking up our spine here. Awesome. Letting that go. Roll your shoulder blades, come to the end of your mat. Scrunch up your toes a couple of times, just activating the muscles under your feet, in the soles of your feet. Nod your chin and let's roll down. First roll down this morning, take your time, keep your knees bent. Halfway lift, hands to the shins, reach your spine long, open the collarbone. Exhale as you soften. And again, halfway lift. Reach your sit bones back, find that nice long spine, and fold. And again, reach. Exhale, fold. One more time. And folding down, let's ragdoll up. Stack your spine. Notice all the sections of your spine stacking up. Roll the shoulders. And we're folding back down. Not the chin, roll it down. Lift the abdominals, sit bones float up to the ceiling. Halfway lift. And fold. We're walking out to our downward dog. Planting your palms, opening your fingers. Let's begin with some nice heel lifts, pedaling out the feet. Keeping a nice connection in the center of all this movement. Tuning into your abdominals, noticing them, keeping them on as you move. Just pedaling out here. Let's do 4 more. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring both heels up, gently pressing both heels down and hold. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Continue to pedal, just taking some of that tension out. And we're going to start to alternate lifting our legs. So pause with the pedaling and start to just gently lift alternating legs up. We're trying to stay nice and square here. Your legs are staying relatively parallel and your core stays on. Exhale as you float the leg up. Inhale as it comes down. Can you just release a little tension out of the neck and shoulders? I know it's hard in this position, but just notice what's going on there. 3 more. 2 and 1. Pausing, both feet are on the floor. Let's come down into an all fours position. If you need a pad under your knees, grab that now and find a nice square position. Your toes are released, so they're not tucked under. They're just nice and flat on the tops of your feet. Let's come through some cat-cow. Nod your chin. Roll up, pushing the floor away, lifting the middle back up to the ceiling. And coming out into the cow pose, letting your shoulders release a little, your tummy comes down, and then we go back up, pushing up. Head is heavy, and coming out, unraveling your spine, allowing the chest to come forward. Let's do 2 more. Round it up, use your abdominals here, lifting and lifting. And then unravel, continuing to keep a connection with your abdominals even as you go into extension. Last one. And back. We're going to take your right hand, bring it across in front of your left hand. Take your left leg out. So we have left leg long, right arm is crossed over the left. We're coming into some rotation here. Tapping across the hand, opening up. We're twisting around the belly button. Really pushing down through your standing arm. The standing arm and wrist are going to get tired here. Let's do 4 more. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bringing that leg in, finding yourself back in all fours. Bring the left arm across the right hand. The right leg goes long, and we come to do the other side. Similar movement to a thread through, just a little different because you have to maintain some balance here. Big exhale as you open. Should feel really nice in your mid-back. And let's do 3 more. Rotate, twist. And last one. You should have lots of warmth in that standing arm. Come down to your forearms, elbows right under shoulders. We're sending that left leg back. Staying super square here and lifted in the abdominals. We're beginning with some leg lifts. Exhale, reach that leg up. You could point your toes or have a neutral foot. Exhale up, inhale down. As you move the leg, you're going to find that your hip wants to turn out. Let's try to keep that hip really square. You're in the center of your standing knee. And let's reach through the crown of the head. We want to keep the head in line with the spine, otherwise it starts to get too heavy. Up and down here. You should be feeling some warmth. Push down through those elbows and just check in with your shoulders. 4, 3, 2. On the last one, we hold it up there. Heel to the bum. Reach and pull. Be mindful of your shoulders. Really push down through the elbows, through the forearms. 4 more here. 4. Check your abdominals. 3, 2, and last one. Pull it in, reach it out, and lowering that leg. Let's just take a quick show. Come off the shoulders. Take a breath. And we're back out. Right leg reaches, square off the hips, lift the abdominals, and stay really strong and lifted in your shoulders. We start with our right leg. Now, if you're feeling your lower back at all with these leg lifts, you're going too high. We want to stay in the hip joint rather than dumping into the lower back. Keep it in the hip. Big exhale as you lift. Can you just check your shoulders, check your head position? Up and down. Kneecap is facing down. And let's go for 4 more here. 3. Keep reaching through that leg. 2. And on this last one, we hold hamstring curl, heel to bum. Imagine you're on the curl machine at the gym. Who's been to a gym lately? Nobody. But anyhow, remember that hamstring machine. You're pulling in against gravity. And let's go for 4 more. Really check your abdominals. Keep them on for 4. Check your shoulders. 3, 2, and 1. Letting that go. Nice job, you guys. Come back to your hands and take your first plank. If you want to keep a knee down, just square off with that knee and engage everything else. Let's just really set up a perfect plank here, reaching through the crown of your head. Strong shoulders, lifted abdominals, energy coming through the heels. Let's find downward dog. And we're going between those 2 motions, plank, perfect plank, and up to downward dog. Exhale. And back to your plank, and downward dog. Strong shoulders, and downward dog. And again. Last one, we're coming plank. Find yourself in downward dog. Float the right leg and step it forward to find a lunge. Now you have options here. You could lower your back knee or you could keep it up. Either or. Let's rotate towards the front thigh. Just enjoy this position. Keep tons of energy in your legs here. They're anchoring you. You're nice and stable. And just enjoy that. And bringing the hand back down, finding plank. And to downward dog, just having a moment. Adjust your feet as needed, floating the left leg up. When you're ready, stepping it through, either lowering that back knee or not. and opening towards the front leg, holding. Taking a couple nice deep breaths here. Strong in your legs. Hands come back down, finding a plank. And believe it or not, we're going back to downward dog. Pushing the floor away. I know this is a lot of shoulders, guys. We're almost switching it up here. Let's take that right leg back, step it forward to find lunge, and everybody lowers their back knee. We're going to come up tall here, and then bring your front leg back a step so that we square off. We'll be standing from here and coming back to the floor. Standing and coming back. You got it. Nice work. So we're really driving the heel. You don't have to balance. If balancing is bugging you, just tap your toe down. Really driving the heel of your front foot into the floor. Squeezing the glute of your standing leg at the top of this range. Really find the glute. Down. Nice job, you guys. Keep it up. Let's just check in. Can you find a little bit of an abdominal connection? Staying tall here. The front leg should be starting to get warm. Really press it down into the floor. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Coming all the way back down. Hands come to the floor. Step into your plank. Unfortunately, we have another leg to do. Let's find downward dog. Enjoy that moment. Take a deep breath. Reaching the left leg up. Stepping it forward. Everybody lowers the back knee. And then we come up tall, bringing that left foot a little closer to you. So everything feels doable to stand. From there you stand and lower. Woo! Standing up. I'm not that balanced on my left foot today. Up and down. Just tune in and focus on this move. It's early in the morning. Balance can be hard to find. Really make sure you give that glute time to fire when you stand tall. And control the way back down. Just quietly tapping that knee. You don't want that knee slamming down. Just protect your kneecaps. Let's do 4 more here. 4, 3, nice and tall. 2, and last one. Drive that heel down. Coming down, bring the knee down here, and bring the other knee in. I'm going to turn to face you. Actually, I'm not going to turn quite yet. Let's do our thigh stretch. Just watch me do this one time, okay guys? Floating your arms. We're coming into our thigh stretch. We're going to do 4 turns here to the same side. And then, this is like sweeping your arm back. Coming up tall, doing the other side, okay? So let's find our glutes on, abdominals on, work on both sides, floating those arms. And let's take the whole shape back. Stay connected here in the abdominals. Sweeping the arm for 1, same side, 2, 3, 4, come up tall. Take a moment, come back. We're going to the other side for 4, 4, 3, keep your abdominals on, 2, and 1. Come up tall, take a moment. We're doing that one more time on each side. Take the whole shape back. Abdominals are on, glutes are on. And we go open for 4, 3, 2, 1. Coming up tall, your quads should be lit up. Back we go. Other side for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Come up tall. Whew. Releasing that. Now I'm going to face you. Let's bring the right leg out long. We're still on the knee on the left. Opening up your arms. We're going to reach through the crown and tip right over to touch your fingertips on the floor. Take a breath. Exhale, pulling up. It's the long side that brings you back. Inhale, we go over. Now the top side of your body is long. Exhale, use those obliques to pull you back up. We're between 2 pieces of glass here. There is no rotation. Exhale, pull it up. Inhale, tap down. Arms stay in line. Exhale, pull up. Check in on your pinky toe on this long foot. That pinky toe and the outer edge of the foot is on the floor. And let's do 3 more here. Inhale over. Exhale like you're pushing through water. And over. Exhale, draw up, nice and tall. And last one. Bringing your hands out in front now. So essentially we're in all 4s, but we've got 1 leg long, okay? You're gonna tuck the toes of your bent leg. Taking a breath, you're gonna hover the knee on the exhale. So we're here, we're hovering this knee, we're holding. Connect with your abdominals for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower that knee. Whew. Check in with the shape of your spine. Send your sit bones way behind you. Reach the crown of your head. And everything stays in line. Let's hover. Up we come. Hold. 5, 4. Keep breathing. 3, 2, 1. Lowering that knee. We have 2 more. Big breath. Exhale, flex, hover it up. Coming to hold. 5, 4, 3, 2. Keep that foot planted. 1. And we have 1 more. Big breath. The shape stays the same, just like in the previous one. Holding it up. Everything stays the same for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower down. Bring the other knee in. Let's take a shell stretch. Just have a moment. Notice all the warmth in your legs. Couple deep breaths. And then we come back up tall and the left foot goes out to the side. All right, so here we are. Before we start moving, squeeze the glute of your bent knee. Press this outside foot down and float your arms up. We tip over to the side. Exhale, pull up. Really use your breath here. It's going to help you activate the center. Pulling up. Tipping over. Really check that you don't have any big curves through your lower back. Your lower back is nice and neutral. And you've got your belly button drawing into you. Inhale, tipping over. Exhale, back. Usually takes about 5 reps and we start to feel that top side oblique working hard. 4 more. 3. Nice work, you guys. 2. And last one. You should feel nice and warm down this side of your body. Hands come out in front of you. Just take a little inventory of what's going on here. Your spine is long, your sit bones are reaching straight back behind you. And when we're ready, we have 4 times we're gonna come into this hover. Big breath in, exhale, hover the knee, hold. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower down, check in with your abdominals. Keep them up, lifting away from the floor. We hover. 5, 4, 3, reach your spine. 2, 1, lowering down. Big breath in. Back we go. Exhale, coming up for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower it down. Nothing changes in the shape. And last one, float it up. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Nice job, you guys. Bring that knee in. One more shell stretch here. Breathe into the lower back. Breathe into the back of your rib cage. And we are coming down, finally, onto our back. All right, let's just bring those feet nice and wide and come into some windshield wipers. Just releasing the pelvis. And then when you're done a few of those, let's bring the feet back to parallel and find a nice neutral pelvis and roll through your imprint a few times. Just that gentle pelvic tilt, closing up the space between your lower back and the mat. And see if you can leave the legs out of it. So this is all about your obliques, those little suspender muscles. And let's settle in to our neutral pelvis. Let one thigh tip out. Exhale, pull that thigh back in. Just stay neutral. The other thigh falls open. And exhale, pull it in. Those should feel nice and parallel now. And let's come into an imprint, bringing your legs to tabletop. Those femurs are nice and parallel. Hands come behind the head. We're nodding through the chin. Exhale as you flex up. And inhale, lower down. We're pushing the back of our head into our hands so that our head feels really heavy here. Inhale down. Exhale up. Notice that as you flex up, your rib cage reaches down towards the hips. Keeping those elbows nice and open, keeping the chin off the chest. And let's do 3 more. 2. And last one, we're staying up, holding. We're going into our obliques, side to side. Reaching through the leg, drawing the shoulder towards the knee, keeping your elbows nice and wide. Big exhale as you twist. Notice your sternum and your rib cage rotating. You're essentially rolling through your middle back. And let's pause on this next one to the right. Little pulses for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring that leg in. Switch. Pulses for 10. To the left. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring that knee in. Lower your head. Your abs should be on fire. Let's bring the feet down. Let the arms go wide for a moment. Shaking it off. Whew. So your arms will be out wide beside you, pushing your arms into the floor. Find that imprint again and bring your legs back up. The head stays down for this one. We're going to send the legs out on a 45-degree angle. Reach those legs out. Then we're going to exhale, pull the toes so that the legs come vertical. Inhale, bend the knees. Exhale, reach your legs on a 45. Pull the toes to the ceiling, bend the knees. Reaching them out, pull to the ceiling, bend it in. And again, maintain your imprint, drop your belly button down to your spine, pulling the toes up, bending the knees. One more time in this direction, reaching out, pull the toes up, lower abdominals, and bend. We're going to switch it and start with our legs up vertical. So from here, we lower the legs to 45 and pull them in. Reach them up to the ceiling, toes to the ceiling, lower to 45, bend the knees in. Reach it up, out we go, bend it in. Let's do 2 more. Up to the ceiling. I know your hip flexors are really talking to you. Out to 45, bend it in. Last one. Reach it up, send it out, and bend it in. Give your knees a big hug. Roll on your lower back. Great job, you guys. Let's plant those feet. Bring them a little closer to your bum than you would think. And just put your hands on your stomach for a second and just check your alignment. So you want to feel like it's nice and flat across your abdominals. Your rib cage has a nice little connection. It's not flaring up. It's staying down and connected and heavy. And we're going to come up into our bridge. Exhale as you push the hips up. We're not rolling. We're just pushing. Pushing up. Find a nice bridge. Really assess what's going on the front side of your body. You still have that work happening in the abdominals. We're just holding this bridge, enjoying that moment, letting our hip flexors unwind a little bit. And let's just breathe. Taking your arms and bringing them overhead, resting them on the floor above you. We're going to roll our spine back to the mat, 1 vertebra at a time. Just really take your time here. Rolling down, coming through your mid-back, down through your imprint until your pelvis is nice and neutral. Big breath in. Let's just push up. Again, straight up. Push it up. Find that bridge. Let your abdominals connect and support you. Take a couple breaths here. See if you can lose a little tension out of the shoulders. And let's roll it down from the top, very top of your spine. Take your time. Using your legs to control this motion. Come through any sticky spots in your spine and place it down 1 vertebra at a time. Awesome. Bringing your arms back down beside you wherever they're comfortable. Find a figure 4. The right ankle goes over the left knee. And from there, we're going to put our hands on our hips so your elbows can still be on the floor. And we're just going to come into a single leg bridge. Lower and lift. Exhale, up. We're trying to keep this hip nice and elevated. The hip of your crossed leg. We don't want it to be too far down. We want to keep those hips as level as we can. Drive the heel down. lifting and lowering using just the one leg, and doing whatever it takes to find a balance in the pelvis. And let's do 4 more. 4, should be feeling your glute and hamstring. 3, draw in through your abdominals. 2, and last one. Lowering down, and let's switch legs. The left ankle crosses the right knee. Make sure your heel is close enough to your bum that this bridge feels doable. And then with your hands on your hips, when you're ready, start your bridging, trying to keep the left hip up. Exhale, press that foot into the floor, lifting the hips up. Inhale down, exhale up. And let's do 3 more here. Press, lower. Last one, press up and lower it down. Awesome. Bring your feet nice and wide again, and let's finish where we started with some windshield wipers. Let your pelvis be nice and heavy. Awesome. And we're flipping onto our tummy. Okay, so find yourself on your tummy, wiggle around until your pelvis feels comfortable. And we can let the legs go a little bit wide here if that feels good. And even if you want to let your hips turn out, that's fine here too. So we're going to bring our arms out wide like cactus arms. So they'll be off your mat. Your nose is hovering here. And we're just going to find some really nice extension through the upper back. So let's push down through the arms. Engage your legs just a little bit. So your arms and your legs are both active. Okay, and from there, let's exhale, float your head and shoulders up to breaststroke 1 and allow the rib cage to sink into the floor. So we want to still feel our ribs on the floor. We're pushing down through the arms. And I want you to imagine there's a little marble right on your sternum, ahead of your sternum, and you're trying to move the marble forward, okay? So imagine it's just like a little ball or something right in front of your chest, and you're trying to bring that ball forward just an inch, allowing that rib cage to drop down and get a little heavier. Continue to push down through the arms and the legs, and you're just moving that little ball forward with your chest, and let's lower down. Relax everything, and then start again by pushing those arms down. Engage your legs, so legs and arms are on. Lift the abdominals, and then floating the upper body up until you feel the rib cage is left on the mat, and then we're going to allow that rib cage to sink into the floor as you move the little marble forward with your chest. It's just a really small, tiny, subtle little movement. And let's just think about pushing those arms down and squeezing your shoulder blades down your back. And then lowering down. We're going to add on here. Big breath in. Let's exhale, push down, find the legs, and then float the upper body. We're going to leave the upper body where it is here in that nice extension, heavy ribs. We're going to float the arms up. So now we've got the arms, the shoulder blades are squeezing back. Let's lower just the arms and then lower the head. Floating the head up, bringing the arms up to squeeze, lowering just the arms and lowering the head. And again, up with the upper body, the head, shoulders, float the arms, lower the arms, and lower the head. 2 more times. Float up, bring the arms up, squeeze those shoulders. Down, legs are on, core is on. And again, float it up, let those ribs get heavy, move the marble forward just a little. Bring the arms up, lower the arms, and lower the upper body. Last one, bringing it up, core on here. Float your arms down, and lower the head. Hands go under the head. We're going to get into some slow swimming. So we're alternating. We're going to progressively go faster and faster here. So we're starting with just a slow kick with each leg, moving from the hip. Legs are straight and engaged. Can we drop a little of the shoulder tension? So slow swimmer's kick. And then let's start to get into more of a flutter. So we're not quite at our speedy flutter yet. We're at sort of a slow pace flutter. Keep reaching through the legs. Your core is on, and let's breathe deeply here. We're heading towards a full flutter. Let's get into it. Super quick kicking. Long, deep breaths. Moving from the hip. Swimming as fast as you can. Checking in that your abdominals are still on and supporting your back. Your legs are heavy. We want to have work on both sides of the body. Keep swimming, keep swimming. Long breathing for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let that go. Release. Let your knees go wide and bring your heels together, toes apart, so that the soles of your feet are aiming up to the ceiling. Thighs are wide, heels are connected. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, hover the knees just an inch, squeezing the heels together. This is so small, you guys, not too high. Inhale, lower down. Exhale, connect the heels, draw up through the tummy, and just gently hover the knees and lower down. Exhale up. This is smaller than you think. Finding your abdominals, finding your glutes and hamstrings. If you feel your lower back, it's too high. Exhale up, squeeze those heels together and lower it down. Let's do 3 more. 3, reach through the kneecaps. 2, and last one. Letting that go. Let your head be heavy, let your legs reach long. We're going to reach around. Let's go with the left arm. Reach that left arm around. Find your foot, your toes, your ankle, and stretch the quad on the left side. Squeezing the left shoulder open. Kind of getting a 2-for-1 stretch here. The chest and the hip flexor. Just breathing into your quad. Try to let your hip bones be heavy here. One more big squeeze of that top shoulder. And gently release both and reach around with your right arm to find your right ankle. Keeping the legs parallel here. Squeeze the right shoulder open and find that length in the right quad and hip flexor. Just breathing into any tension that you feel. Keep the legs parallel here to protect your knees. Squeeze one more time with that right shoulder. Really pull it open. And gently releasing that. Push to your shell stretch. Release your tailbone down to your heels. Round your spine over your thighs. And breathe into your lower back. Let's walk the hands off to the left, getting a nice big pull. Pull the right hip back. Breathe into the spaces between your ribs, walking your hands through to the other side. Pulling that left hip back. And back to center. Let's ragdoll back up to our high knees. Just drag your fingertips. Keep your spine rounded until your hands meet your knees. I'm going to turn to face you. We're going to be up on our high knees. Cross one arm across your body. Don't allow that arm to collapse into your chest. Try to keep a little space between the arm and the chest. And we're just finding the back of the shoulder. Pulling that shoulder backwards just a little to increase your stretch. And then the other side. Cross it over. Pull that arm across your body, and then with that shoulder, pull the shoulder the opposite way, kind of creating like a little tug of war. We don't want to allow this shoulder to come too far over. Push the arm and the elbow into each other a little. And then open your palms. Opening the chest and bring them around to clasp behind you, squeezing your shoulders. Let your chin float up. See if you can release a little of your shoulder tension and allow it to drip down your back. Letting that go, gently releasing. Bringing your arms to your side, palms are out, and let's just stretch the side of the neck. Make sure you're all stacked up here. The head isn't ahead of you. It should be right on top of your shoulders. And then come through center and go the other way. And back through center. Draw your chin in a couple of times, retracting your chin in. And roll your shoulders. That's it, you guys. Thank you so much. Have an awesome, awesome day. You guys killed that workout, and hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you at the next one.